Yes, yes, yes. We are back. We are back. So-called Black in America. My name is Yakanan. I'm your host. And listen, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad that you're here. And I appreciate you taking the time out to join us today. Listen, we have a phenomenal show for you. So sit back, relax, and get ready for it because it's going to be awesome. I have some awesome guests for y'all. I have to apologize up front because, listen, I have a little head cold. I don't know if you could tell, but I do have a little head cold going on. And so I'm a little bit congested, a little bit runny nose. So if you see me go off camera real quick, I'm just gonna go ahead and let you know because I had to go blow my nose. Okay, so that y'all know me. I just keep it real. So if I go off camera, I'll put the camera on them, and I'm off somewhere blowing my nose. But listen, we have a exciting show. Um, I want to start this by saying one of the reasons why I started this show, some of y'all know that have been with me for a while. Some of y'all know I started off as a radio show and same name, So Called Black in America. And one of the reasons why I started this show is because there's so many things that go on in our community. And when I'm saying our community, I mean the melanated community. So many things that go on, and you hear a lot of people talking, oh, this is going on, this is going on, this is going on. And I've always had the saying that if all you're doing is talking about it and you're not doing anything about it, then you're part of the problem. So I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and I want to start a show. I like to do radio, and I was like, I want to start a show and I want to talk about these problems with people and maybe we could find a solution and maybe we could talk about it and maybe out of whoever's listening, if only one person's listening, if we could maybe just spark an idea in that person's head, then maybe that person might take it and run with it and so on and so on and so on. So, listen, shout out to all the people that are doing podcasts out there, because there's a niche for everything, right? And so, but this is the thing that I'm doing. So I'm doing like real live stuff that trying to help the community. So this is my way of giving back to the community. And so that's what I'm doing. So how I came up with this episode was a brother, one of the older brothers, a couple of years older than me, that I grew up with back in New York. He made a comment on Facebook, and Tracy Towers. Shout out to Tracy Towers, one of the brothers from Tracy Towers. So I got to give the credit to him. He made a comment on Facebook, and he was saying, everybody's out here partying and geeky and all of this stuff, but ain't nobody got no businesses. Nobody has no business, and everybody all up in everybody's face smiling, talking about they had a good time. But where's your businesses? We don't have no businesses. We don't have to do this. So I reached out to him. I said, "Well, you want to do a show about it? You want to come on my show?" He was like, "Yeah." So shout out to him. Unfortunately, up until this morning, he got sick. He couldn't make it. He's in the hospital. So listen, I hope you get better, Blue. Real talk. Get better soon. There's gonna be another time. I will have you on. But so this show goes to you, and this was your idea. You sparked this idea, so I'm not gonna take credit for it. So the show was his idea. So shout out to you. I'm gonna give you credit. But with that being said, listen, I'm gonna bring on my guests. I have some good guests coming on today. I also have one more guest. He was on earlier. We were talking. He was on earlier, but then he had some internet problems. I'm telling you, if you plan on doing this, make room because you will have technical difficulties. I'm telling you, I tell you every week, you're gonna have technical, have a backup, and then have a backup to your backup. Real talk, have a backup to your backup because people are gonna things like this, unfortunate circumstances are gonna happen. People are gonna have technical difficulties and everything. Things are gonna happen. So listen, I know y'all tired of hearing me talk. I know y'all want to hear my guest talk. So listen, well, today's topic is about, I know you probably seen it, but listen, where's my money? All right, where's my money? All right, yeah, where is my money? Where does the black dollar go? That's right. Where does it go? We spend money all the time, but where does our money end up? And how long does it end up there? And how long does it stay in our pockets? So we're going to talk about today. And with that being said, I'm going to bring on my guests. I have Miss Mahogany Artis. I have Donnie back. if he would come in the camera, listen, I can't get mad at Donnie. Donnie be on his hustle and his grind. All right. Donnie is still doing his thing. He's on his 9 to 5 right now. But when I come to Donnie comes through in a clutch. Yo, Donnie, what you doing? I'm doing whatever you need me. I'm doing you need me. Yeah, all right. Yo, I'm working, but what you need?
Hmm.
Shout out to
Yeah,
Donnie.
I
So listen,
appreciate that.
yeah, I know. I appreciate it. Real talk. So listen, Mahogany, it's your first time on the show. Go ahead, take the time to introduce us to who you are.
Yes, thank you so much for having me here. I'm super excited to be on being Black in America. It's definitely a topic that we talk about often in my household. I'm here in Dallas, Texas. I am a 9 to 5 worker as a social worker who investigates elderly and adults with disabilities. I investigate that type of abuse. And I also am a real estate investor with my husband. We buy rental property and we turn them into short term rentals, also known as Airbnb. And recently, I am the host of the Lean podcast, Ladies Empowerment and Alignment Network. So I'm very happy to be here.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. We glad to have you here. And Donnie, listen, go ahead and talk to us and tell us about you for the people who are just joining us and who don't know who Donnie is. Talk to us.
What up, dope people? Donnie from Whatever Talk, and I'm just a conversation seeker. That's it. I am broke. So, ironically, I am on a show about money. And yeah, my podcast is basically, I mean, my podcast is everything. Like I look at my podcast as one of the dopest podcasts out there because the things that I like to talk about, which is the most taboo is of all taboo, is about me, my thoughts, and I implore everybody else to talk about their thoughts whenever they come on. I don't want to just hear about what you got to think about mine. I want to hear about what y'all be thinking about too, which is one of the taboo, probably the most taboo thing, because
Mhm.
everybody's afraid to be themselves.
Right, right.
So,
And listen, he's not lying. He had me on the show and we talked about aliens. All right. We talked about aliens and if they were coming from the ocean or under real talk. So he's not lying. We talk about everything. And that wasn't the only topic. So good show. Y'all need to check him out. All right.
hey,
So
coming
listen.
out soon.
Yes, yes. So listen, we're gonna go ahead and get started with the show. And I'm gonna throw down that first question. The black dollar. Serious topic. So y'all heard the intro and why this topic came about. What do y'all have to say about this situation, and or what do y'all think the state of affairs for the melanated community is when it comes to our money? Do you think that we're spending our money wisely? Do you think that we're spending our money inside our community? I'll start there.
That is a silly question.
We got to start somewhere.
I say it's silly because for some reason we only deem it's okay to spend in the black community annually.
Hmm.
Oh,
And what
hey,
do you
this
mean
is
by that?
hey, we got Black Business Day, Black Small Business Day, but we only spend money in black businesses on those days, while
Mm,
throughout the rest of the year putting up the fist talking about black everything.
mm,
So that's why
mm,
that question is silly to me.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay,
So,
okay. What are your thoughts, Mahogany?
My thoughts. So I've seen around the internet. I haven't done my own research, but approximately $1 trillion of 1 trillion black dollars are spent annually, and that's a lot considering all the money in the world. Like 1 trillion of it's coming from Black America. It's usually spent outside of our communities. I do believe a couple of reasons. That's one thing because first of all, I think a lot of black businesses that do exist or that people want to start, they don't get the funding for it. So they don't really have the opportunities and the resources to start a black owned business. Therefore, when it's time for Black America to spend money, a lot of that income is spent outside of the community because of lack of black businesses. The second thing is black businesses usually get a tougher scrutiny when it comes to their customer service. Like we all
Mm-hmm,
hear all the time, This is why I don't deal with black people. This is why I don't do black business. That's why I don't go to black businesses, because we might have one bad experience with a black owned business and want to pretty much put us all in one category. Therefore, spending our money elsewhere. Like, yeah, we can go get Latasha to do our nails, but I'm gonna go to the Yin Yang chain down the street, no pun intended, only
Right.
because I know I'm gonna get a certain level of customer service. Even if they're treating you just as poorly, we just really hammer in on how the black people are treating black people.
Right. Right.
I do also believe that dollar is usually spent when it comes to things like fashion, beauty, material things that don't generate more money, things that are not assets but liabilities. So that's my opinion of the black dollar.
Right. You know, you
Yep.
brought up
Yep.
you brought up something interesting, and you said $1 trillion, but it's actually, and I was looking at some statistics that I have down. It's actually $1.8 trillion,
Wow.
even more. And so you brought up something interesting, and you said one of the reasons why, and I agree with you, one of the reasons why is because what we'll do is we have one bad experience in a melanated owned business, and we write them off and say, that's it. See, that's why I don't mess with that's, and then we'll put it on. That's why I don't mess with y'all people. I don't mess with your people, because they do this and they do that, and then we write them off. However, we frequent other people's establishments all the time, and we get treated the same way, but we don't write off their businesses, and we go back. How many times have we seen, how many times have we watched videos and we've seen our sisters being beat up by Asian people in their nail salons? We didn't write off Asian people in their nail salons. You know, we keep doing that. But you're right. So you bring up an interesting topic or interesting point. So I just wanted to say that. Hey, everybody else, shout out the other person that I told you, my other guest, Michael Coleman, was able to join us. So I'm glad you got your internet situations taken care of. We're gonna take a break here so you can introduce yourself.
Oh yeah, well, first of all, I appreciate everybody having me on or whatever. Yeah, technology was fighting us a little bit on this, but I am Michael Coleman. I am a financial planner. Have my own business here. Been operating, trying to help our people get free for well over 15 years, 25 plus years as an investor in some way, shape, or form. But having my own firm and being a financial planner out on my own for 15 plus years now. It's been a heck of a journey, but the premise for everything I do is in how can I help us get free? How can I help us establish and grow and continue to empower ourselves within the confines of the system? We got to use what we got here to empower ourselves and create some type of legacy, not just in the economics, but the information that we're passing down to. So that's my little spiel.
Okay. And listen, I forgot to tell y'all that's his real voice. I forgot to tell y'all this brother is Don Cornelius incarnate. All right. I forgot that, but so I apologize. I didn't warn y'all ahead of time. He makes my voice get a little deeper because I'll be trying to compete with him and everything. Look, this is my show. I'm supposed to be the guy with the voice, but he get on here and we all
Yeah.
Don Cornelius and everybody. So, but that's his real voice. Real talk. That's his real voice. So, but yeah. So listen, I appreciate you working those issues out because listen, we need you for the show. We need you for the show. So I appreciate you and your time and everything. And so one of the questions that I asked is about the black dollar basically. And Mahogany was talking about that, and we were talking about where do we think it goes, and why do we think it goes there, and she gave a excellent view on that. She also brought in a couple of statistics, and while we're on statistics, one thing, so I took the time out and I wrote some statistics down as well. So, and I'm not gonna guess with you guys because y'all are some intelligent people, and I don't want y'all to give it away. So I'm gonna just tell what the statistics are, And it looks like Mahogany did some homework, so she probably got the same notes I do. All right. So listen, the dollar circulation in different communities. All right. So in the Asian community, the dollar circulates for 28 days. That's almost 1 month. All right. 28 days basically is a month. All right. 28 days. In the Jewish community, it circulates 19 days. Okay. 17 days in the white community. Now, this is a rhetorical question for the people that are watching. Or better yet, I'm going to ask y'all, how long do you think the dollar circulates in our community, the melanated community?
We give it 3
Oh,
days.
what
Hey,
what's
we
the
got one for three. We got one for 3
what's
days.
what's the time frame of this recent search? Because obviously, I created a whole foundation on this. Old numbers used to be in the hours.
It is in the hours. You are correct.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was going to say pretty much as soon as we cash the check or get directly deposit.
It's it's
And
it's actually, if we factor out black-owned funeral homes and hairdresser and barber salons, it's actually a negative number,
wow.
because the only place that we normally focus our circulation on are on things that we're not going to get from anybody else, i.e., getting our hair cut, i.e., getting our hair done, i.e., when we get up out of here and close our eyes. Outside of that, we don't support each other.
Hmm. Right.
Yeah.
So the hours and outside of the things that you were mentioning, 6 hours. That's not even a whole work shift. But our dollar does not even stay in our community for an entire work shift. There's a problem with that. There's a serious problem with that. Where's the money going? The money's going to everybody else. How can we have any financial wealth or stability when the money doesn't even stay in our community for an entire work shift? So basically, when you wake up in the morning and you go to work, by the time you get off, the dollar has already left the community. That's crazy.
I think a lot of that comes from the psychological issues that we have or programming that we have to not play along with each other. And we're yeah, like I've been seeing this floating around social media recently. Uh, I can't remember exactly what it says, so I'm paraphrasing it. Something like uh, my friend or stranger. I think it was like stranger prices regular and my friend's prices or black prices is skyrocket or something like we'll pay regular price for the anybody else but black owned, but when it comes to black owned, we're arguing about the regular price on
We
the
want the
black
brother
owned joint.
discount. We want the brother
Exactly.
discount.
Yes, because we
Yeah.
look alike or have the same complexion,
Right.
we have to get the hookup no matter what.
Right. Right.
And we don't do that to Tommy Hill. We don't do that to Jabal. We don't do that to
We pay full
Nautica.
price, no problem when we go there.
Exactly. And we don't even make no woohoo about it either. We don't be like, well, dang, that's kind of high. We
Right.
just like, well, swipe.
Right. Right.
See how fast we can deplete our account. It's a race to that.
Right. It's funny you should mention. I was just talking to somebody about that earlier. How when there is a black owned business and you're doing a lot of times, and I'm not going to say it's indicative every single time, but a lot of times when you are a a black owned business and you're doing business within your community, you're automatically expected to give everybody the quote unquote brother discount. However, when they go into other communities, that's not expected. So automatically you're willing to shortchange your own people, but you're willing to give other communities and other ethnicities the full price. And so looking at that, some more statistics that I have. 80, check this out. 87% of all retail spending comes from our community. 87% of all retail spending comes from our community, but yet our communities show no community owned value. That's wild when you think about that. 87%. So think about the spending power that we actually have. 87%. That means we own the industry. Think about if we took that and we put that into our own communities, in our own businesses, just think about that.
I'm thinking about it right now. And first, I don't really care about statistics. I think statistics is a joke. All stats is a joke because it's kind of wild that you have those percentages for where the money is being spent when we ain't got no money to begin with to be spending that percentage according to according to observations and according to people, period. Us, these black people, I mean, we ain't got no money. We ain't making no money. They ain't giving us the opportunities to get the money, and we ain't getting no money for all this stuff. But yet, we got statistics about all this money that we're spending that we don't get.
So, Donnie, check this out. It's interesting you say that because here's the thing. That's what they would have you believe, that we don't have any money. There's no money in our community and everything like that. And they would have you believe these statistics. But here's the thing. If that's the case, why does everybody fight to open up shops in our communities? All other, Asians, now the Indians, the Pakistanis, the Punjabis, everybody, they fight to open up businesses within our community. They're about money. So if there were no money in our communities, if we didn't have the money, then they would not be fighting to open up businesses in our communities. So the money's there. The money is there. Don't be fooled and think that the money's not there. The money's there. We just don't spend it properly. Yeah, we just don't spend it properly, but the money's there.
But yes, that's my whole point of, or what I'm trying to convey about these statistics. It's like, well, the money has to be there to some degree. However we getting the money, because obviously a 9 to 5 really ain't cutting it to a bunch of people. Again, according to, but yes, from what I've come across, the information that they're not really rushing to get into the black community. It's kind of, from the information that I'm getting is that they're being forced to get put into black communities because they don't want them anywhere else.
Oh, I can tell you for certain that's not true.
They don't want Asians in suburbs. They don't want the freaking dashiki place in the suburbs. They don't want the soul food place in the suburbs. So again, I don't know for sure. I'm just going off information that I've come across.
Mm-hmm.
It just statistics to me. To me, they all made up to me, because I kind of go off the notion of, they say, hey, the numbers don't lie type thing. But I agree with that. The numbers don't lie. I counted 2 + 2 does equal 4. But the people saying these numbers, which is most likely white, lie.
So I think it's good we have Mike here, because Mike being a financial advisor, he deals with all type of people from all different aspects of financial industries, all different communities and everything like that. What are your thoughts on that and what Donnie said?
It's kind of multi-layered.
We real. So keep it real.
It's kind of multi-layered. So one of the unfortunate parts, let me say unfortunate, but one of the parts of doing what I do is that I get to be, in the words of Hamilton, in the room where it happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you said something earlier about us being the largest retail consumer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, they don't want us in their space. They just want our money.
Right.
So they are absolutely apt and happy to invite us into the space to give up the funds. They just don't want us to stay there. Mm-hmm. And they don't want us to be able to remain there, just there for exploitation. When I was writing my dissertation, I stole this title, so I will give credit. But I called it The Trick of Integration, because the trick was to make you think that the other communities' ice was colder, or their water was wetter, or their
Right.
food tasted better, right? So the premise of economics and capitalistic state is that somebody has to be taken advantage of and exploited for this thing to work, right?
Mhm.
We are the exploited ones. It's just that simple. And
That's
so until we actually understand how to control our money, we have the capital, right? Like
Mhm.
Black America is the 18th largest GOP on earth out of all the countries combined in the world, just Black America alone. So there's very few countries in the world that can bang with us. But the problem is we own nothing. We spend everything and they want our consumption, right?
Right.
So, yeah, so, all the other communities come in because they have a group-based culture that allows them to speak a same language or a same religion or whatever, and they spend their money together so they're able to have more buying power whenever they do things. We just don't have that. So from an investing standpoint, we're the last group, us and the newer Latinos. We're the
Mhm.
last groups to actually have a large amount of our money invested in the market. So in the rooms I'm in, that's what they're trying to figure out is how to get our dollars there. But they
Right.
got our dollars everywhere else because we don't own any of these companies we support.
Right.
And not
Right.
only do
So
we
true.
not own them, we also don't invest in them as corporate shareholders to own them from the backside so that we can at least hold them accountable. So they don't care about a lot of things. They care about your money. And if your
Right.
money is not showing them your power, shit,
Mhm.
you have access to nothing.
Right. Right. Mahogany, we haven't heard from you. Talk to
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
You said she's sitting back there so quiet and just listening.
I hate cutting people off, so I always try to find the best time to speak. I would definitely, I think I see where Donnie's coming from as far as believing that we may not have the money to contribute to over $1 trillion consumption. And I do also see these businesses coming up in the Black communities. However, these Black businesses are usually things that they know we're going to consume: liquor stores, nail salons, little mom and pop shops to come get some fried rice and chicken, little things like that. They know we're going to consume. They know we're going to want it. So I see why they would be fighting to get into our space, because they know once it's there, well, they're going to spend their money on some liquor, if nothing else. Like, they're going to go. So it's like they kind of know how to target us in that way, because the first way to know if you're in the hood or not is to see if you're close to a Starbucks or a Chick-fil-A. If you're not near a Starbucks or a Chick-fil-A, you're probably nowhere near the hood, because they're not going to go there. They're going to give you that fried chicken that probably been dropped on the floor, put back in the air fryer, that's been sitting unsanitary, where the inspectors for the
Facts.
city aren't really coming around to check like that. We could sell it
Facts.
to them, but they're not going to, like I said, the Starbucks and things like that. I definitely agree as well, with our financial advisor here about investing. My husband and I, we invest in real estate, and we have for the last 8 years. And we go to meetups, we go to networking events, and the groups are usually white and Asian or other, and not us. Um, I believe a lot of that has to do with the system and the way it's been set up in the past. Now we could say, well, we can go out into a bank and get a loan, no problem. But how long has that been the case? Therefore, people like us, my husband and I, were 32, 35, and our parents didn't teach us how to do these things. We didn't, like, we now take our son to our rehab projects when we're doing things. We take him to the bank, we take him to the networking events we have to go to make connections. And we didn't have that. Therefore, the Black community struggles a lot when it comes to investing, because we have not been shown the ropes. I don't believe that means we're not capable, because if we go back to Black Wall Street, they did amazing. They were killing it. They were spending the black dollar in the Black communities. And it had to come from somewhere. It just really has to go down to the education, I believe, to see that it's possible, or be in proximity with people who are also doing it that look like you, to believe we can too.
Hmm. Interesting. So here's some more of my statistics here. So, and this is from blackdemographics.com, which states that the melanated community spends 30% more than their total income, but make on app than the total income, but make an average of $20,000 less than the average household. but we spend 30% more than everyone else and make an average of $20,000 less. You know, and I keep throwing these statistics in because I'm hoping listeners will hear this. And Mahogany, you brought some great points out. You know, so here's the thing. You know, and Mike, you were on the show when I had the talk show. You were on there, and we gave a really good that was a good show. But here's the crazy thing about it. That was one of the lower listened to shows. And it's crazy because we talked about things that can help somebody to overcome and get out of debt. We talked about different ways, you know, different ways to help to stop the struggle and everything. And people didn't want to hear it. So it's just odd that when it comes to things like this, people don't want to hear it. And Mahogany, you brought up something very interesting. Now I could say for myself, and you just submitted it too, and something I want to ask you guys. When I was growing up, my parents didn't teach me invest in yourself and invest in your own community. Was this something that you guys heard growing up?
Not really. Like, yeah, not really. I heard about, investing in yourself as far as nothing financial per se, but just putting in the work for you to get
Right.
where you gotta go or to get
Right.
what you
In
want to
that
be.
aspect, but right on a business
Yeah.
aspect and financially. What about you, Mike? I think I saw you nodding your head no.
No, absolutely. I mean, my grandfather was an entrepreneur. So I saw a little bit from the funeral home perspective that he had, but I mean, but even then, it they didn't understand money, right?
Right.
They
Right.
knew how to keep it afloat, but
Mhm.
I mean, I literally became a financial planner because of what happened with him, right? He lost everything, and you know, it was because nobody cared. Nobody thought enough to say, hey, don't always buy CDs or if you're going to buy properties and things of that nature, put them in LLCs or, hey, why don't you establish a trust? Small, just 3 or 4 small little tidbits that could have transformed the lives of not only me, but, my baby, my mother and my cousins and aunties and uncles. So, I mean, a lot of those things come into fruition because this is not what we're taught. Like, hold on one second.
Mm-hmm. So while he's talking
I'm
about that,
moving it back because
go ahead.
I had to come watch my kids' soccer game. But
Okay.
It's a term that I don't like, which is generational wealth. And people will wonder why I don't like the term.
Mhm.
And the reason why I don't like the term is because it's going to go into the statistic is that those of us who are in upper middle class Black families, I do okay. My wife and I, my wife's a medical professional. We do okay, right? Our kids know nothing about struggle or poverty, but there is a 90% chance that my grandkids will be in poverty.
Mhm.
A 90% chance.
Yep.
If something happens to me with the amount of insurance and the business and stuff that we have, my kids would inherit millions of dollars. And there is a 90% chance that my grandbabies will be in poverty.
Mm.
And it's because generational wealth is not the money. Generational wealth is the knowledge.
Mm.
Yep. Yep.
Mm.
See what I'm saying? So
Right.
I hate the term because everybody, I got to get to the bag. No, you don't. It don't do you no good to get to the bag and you can't teach nobody what to do with it.
Right. Right.
Like you don't
Now
even
all you
know how
got
to
is a
get to the
bag that's going to
bag.
be spent on bags.
Right.
Your daughter's
Exactly.
going to have Gucci, Fendi, all of the, Louis, all of this dumb shit, excuse my language, right?
Mhm.
But ain't going to have a Roth IRA.
Right. Right.
Ain't going to have tax-free investments, right?
Right.
Aren't going to have anything that's in their name. Aren't going to own any buildings, any land. They can't make no more land,
Right.
right?
Right.
So that is what we have to teach. And unfortunately, that was one of those things that was purposely left out for us. They never
Definitely.
wanted us to understand how to be in business. They never wanted us to understand the art of marriage. They never wanted us to understand the art of investing and understanding the dollar. You
Definitely.
keep those 3 things away from us, we're in poverty forever.
Definitely. Hey, Mike, not to interrupt you, but listen, Mahogany does have a prior engagement that she has to
No
get to.
problem.
So
Yeah.
before you leave, Mahogany, tell us your show. Is your show up and running yet? And tell us, talk to us about it if it is, so that we could get in touch with you, or how we could see your if you have a podcast or whatever, and say your last final words before, because I know you have to go and I don't want to hold you up.
Sure. I just want to say, Mike, that was so powerful. I had to write it down. Generational wealth is not money, it's knowledge. Wow. I can't wait to tell my husband about that and do better at passing down the knowledge as we create the wealth.
Definitely.
For us, for me, yes, I do have a podcast, the Ladies Empowerment and Alignment Network. I can be found on Instagram right now at Mahogany Artists, and it will be launching the first Wednesday of December. It's a podcast about women sharing their stories of going through hard times and different struggles, just to inspire and empower other women who may be in that season. So check us out there. And if you follow me on Instagram at Mahogany Artists, you can also check out some of our rental properties. We do short-term rentals in North Arkansas, North Little Rock, Sherwood, Arkansas. So if you're traveling and you need a place to stay, hit us up.
Awesome.
I would say my last words would be on this topic is just get out there. There's different networking groups. Get on a Meetup app, find different investing groups, and just show up. They're free. You have nothing to lose. Like, just hop on there, find out your closest networking event, and go to it. You never know what you're going to find. And also, we need to be more mindful of our spending. I'm not a Prada, Gucci, Michael Kors type of chick. Ladies, if you are, power to you, but put that on the back burner until you make some real money. I mean, I can go on about that. Just don't do it. It's just ridiculous. And another thing, don't travel using 401k money, and don't travel using loans, and don't travel pawning off stuff. Like, if you'll get the experience, sometimes you just have to. I know people who do this. Okay? So I would say, like, if you can't afford to live the lifestyle, don't fake it till you make it.
Don't
make
go,
the money.
right?
Make
Don't
the
go.
money first. Don't fake it till you make it.
Wait. Hold on. People are taking out. Well, I know it's not far-fetched because the wild of stupidity of humanity's psyche, but
they
taking
pawn stuff to take that trip. That Cancun trip.
People are taking out payday loans. They're doing it. Ask our financial specialist here. They're doing it, and
oh my goodness,
it's ridiculous because you can look good on social media, but it's not going to work out in the long run.
It's not. You're right, Mahogany. I wish you could stay with us for the rest of the show, but listen, I do appreciate it. And you were a last minute. You were like, listen, I got your back. I'm here for you. So I appreciate you, and we're definitely going to have you on the show at another time. But I do understand you had a prior engagement, so I appreciate you spending that time with us. So
yes.
Everybody say goodbye to Mahogany. I appreciate you joining us.
Thank you guys for having me. And please connect with me on social media.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Thank you guys.
All right, Mahogany.
Thanks for
Talk to you
having me.
soon. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, Mike. So going back to you, brother. Here we go. Going back to you. So you made a couple of excellent points, and something that I wanted to bring out was, and that's the reason why I said that, you mentioned it's the knowledge. It's not the bag. What's the use of having a bag if you don't get the knowledge? And that's 100% right. And that's kind of why I brought that up, because we're not taught to teach. It's something that didn't come to us through our generation, through generational knowledge. We had to learn it by bumps and bruises. Excuse me. We had to learn it because at some point in time, and because of the advent of internet and everything like that, things were a little bit more open to us, and we were able to see, so we had to learn it through that way. But whereas our parents were too busy struggling, trying to make it and trying to get along. And here's the thing. You brought up something. It's crazy because so many things that you guys have said today. I was talking to someone earlier, and I mentioned so many things that you guys are talking about. And one of the things that I tell people all the time, and I think, Mike, you and I might have had this conversation before, excuse me, but integration is what ruined our economy, and I think that's what you just said. And I've said it several times. Integration is what ruined our economy, because we did have our own schools, we had our own banks, we had our own systems. And as you can see by the numbers now, this isn't a new phenomenon. This is something that we had because we had to. See, we did because we had to, and we had because we had to have. And so, because of that, it was looked at as, wow, they have the spending power, they have the spending money. There's a commercial that was floating around the internet, and it was a old black and white, and it was a melanated family. It had to be like back in the 40s, back maybe even the 40s. And it was talking about this melanated family, black family, and they were shopping, and it was talking about that they had the power, the spending power and everything, and that, the consumer, the rather the shop owners had to be kind to them because they were the spending power and everything. And this is how it was. And so when that was seen, it was like, we need a piece of that. We need a piece of that pie. But see, our mentality, what was going on there was, just as you said, we thought that that ice was colder. So now when integration came about and we were able to frequent places that we were never able to frequent before, instead of going to Billy Bob's to get the paper towels, now we went to the AMP to get the paper towels, because the AMP paper towels, their paper towels were better. But it really was, we wanted to prove something to somebody. The AMP, we were never able to go to the AMP before. So now we bragging to our neighbors, oh no, we didn't go to Billy Bob's to get those paper towels. We got those paper towels from the AMP. Same paper towels, same paper towels, but we were frequenting there. We were frequenting the AMP because we were able to. It's just like, excuse me. It's just like tax season. Everybody goes out and gets that big old car. We get a little bit of money. We get that car flexing and flossing, and knowing in June we're not gonna have it anymore. Knowing we're not gonna have it by June because we can't afford it. But we're not worried about that. We just worried about from February, because by the time you get your tax back, from February to the end of May is what we worried about. We're not worried about that. But then when you look at other cultures, and here's the point. When you look at other cultures that have money, they don't have to floss or flex. You look at what they driving, they driving some beat up Volkswagen Bug. They don't care. They don't have to show you what they have because they know what they have. We for some reason, our community, we have to be flossy and flex and have to show off what we have. And this is why I had another statistic that it mentioned, and I'm paraphrasing, but it says something about, the only wealth that we had in our community, compared to other households between Hispanics and us together, as one community, was a vehicle. That was it. That was the only type of thing that we could show that we had value, that we spent. And when you really think about that, that's really deep.
That's used.
That's really deep. And a vehicle loses value as soon as you drive it off the lot. You lose value, and if you're making payments on it, you're upside down in the payments. You owe more than the vehicle's worth. So I wanted to bring that point out, Mike.
Well, can I?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. You go ahead.
No. You go. You ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say, what you're saying, I think that leaned towards of what I was saying about how we've been psychologically programmed with a mindset to not play together. As far as everything you're saying, like, let's just say I'm wrong about my information or about my things about what I said about these statistics, and the statistics saying that we have money, but for some reason we've been programmed or have this mindset that, like my man said, I'm sorry, what's your name again, sir?
Who, me?
Michael. Yeah, Michael.
Yeah. The same, like what Mike was saying. Michael was saying as well, is that like we like the bag chasing. While chasing the bag, supposedly, we have to look like the bag we're chasing for some reason. And like Mahogany mentioned as well about also the bag. So she's not a product or not. I don't think a lot of us are either. We just like the name, that we like the attention or the affirmations that comes with the name of these people of bass that we're buying. So we don't really, I don't, like me personally, like, I be talking about my wife and her peoples about this stuff too. Her and her peoples, like, y'all don't really like this stuff, y'all, because it's the same exact design except different letters as that, and it look dope as heck too. Like that you want what you're buying, but you don't want to buy it because you're afraid of the imagery of it. You're afraid of that's what you don't like, and that's the black / colored people's mentality on things, the imagery of everything. And also, I want to say about what you were saying, Yakana. Got it right now. I'm always praise myself every time I get your name right. Like you were just saying as well, one of the things that I have mentioned before and that I do think about, as far as when I mentioned earlier about we only spend black money on annual days, which is comical to me, is that even that's just, I thought about, like, even if we do just spend, let's just go just the whole entire year. Let's just say that, just for example, the whole entire year of 2025, we all spend on black businesses. That's it. That's it. No matter what, we all spend on black businesses. Those black businesses have to re-up with white people. That's part of the issue. We have to refuel or re-get items. We have to get the items to sell to black people. We have to get them from the whites to sell back to us, keeping the whites afloat while we trying to do this imagery of generational wealth.
Well, I think, and I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you to a certain extent, but I don't think it's just a white community, because I think it's other communities as well. It's Asians, and it's Middle Eastern communities as well. So, but here's the thing, and this is my opinion. I think that first of all, we have to start somewhere. So I think that starting somewhere is that we need to keep and Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, interject at any time. I think that the first thing we do is we need to keep the dollar in our community for a little bit over a work shift, for it to have any type of influence on the economical status within our community. So because the longer the dollar circulates within our community, the more structure it can support, the more foundation it can support. So now it's 6 hours, or as you stated earlier, Mike, when you add other attributions in there, it's actually at a negative as soon as it's, so in other words, especially with the advent of electronic money, because we don't see our checks anymore. It's not like back then. So what you're saying is 100% correct. You get paid, a lot of people's account is in the negative already. So I totally get what you're saying. So we have to first get that money to where, okay, even if it is in the negative, whatever was taken out is still circulating within the melanated community. But see, that's the problem. It's not circulating within the melanated community. There's nothing wrong with the spending. The problem is where it's ending up. And so the problem is where it's ending up. And so with that, how do we fix it? One idea I was thinking about earlier, they have certain groups, and I don't know if they have them anywhere else. When I being in South Carolina, that was the first time I heard, but they have like these BMI groups and things of that nature. So, and I know this one young lady on on the internet. She started this, what is it, the Black 2025? I think I'm saying it right.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
started that. Excellent idea. I'll never shoot anybody down. I think the more people that can come up with things that can possibly help us, I think the
Mhm.
more we can get out of the pulled out of the hole to get people
Yeah.
to start thinking,
So, so
start
let,
thinking this way.
let me jump into that. So about 2012, my fraternity brother, right? But at the time, we would, regardless of the frat, we were just people. It's my
What
people.
fraternity is that, by the way?
The greatest fraternity that ever existed, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity
Okay.
Incorporated.
Okay.
We're in the midst of Achievement Week. Our Founders Day is coming up here, Sunday, November 17th.
Okay.
But Rudy. But we started a group here with the premise of taking advantage of the South, right? We in the South, we're in every state from North Carolina around to Texas. We're at least 29 to 33% of each one of those states, right? And then some of these cities like Atlanta, Columbia, Charlotte, Jackson, Mississippi, Birmingham, Montgomery, Memphis, those cities, we're 50-60% of the population, right? So we created a group called 1921. And the premise of 1921 is that's the year that Tulsa was bombed. But in the spirit of Tulsa, because that was the last real time that we saw Black dollar circulate, and stay in the community 17, 18, 19, 20 days, we started challenging Black-owned businesses to support each other, right? 1 second. Sorry, my son was upset today.
Okay.
But we said, okay, so we live in a city where, there's 1 million people in the metropolitan area. 490,000 of those people are Black folks, right? Why can't at least 15% of all of our businesses support each other, right? So I am a business, right? So my accountant should be Black. My doctor should be Black. My dentist should be Black. Obviously, who cuts my hair is Black, right? All the retailers that I go buy my clothes and shoes from are Black, right? That's it. And then we challenge each one of those businesses to do the same. You should be getting your supplies from somebody that's Black. You should be trying to support everybody else Black. You're a business, your accountant should be Black, right? And if we can create that infrastructure in place, then we have a real argument to come and say, look, we 100 million strong in the city. So when we come into the bank and go talk and say we want this done, when we go talk to the city, when we go talk to the county, we want this done.
Right.
They listening because our buying power is like, bro, we can do whatever we want. We don't need y'all. We're coming in here because we're giving you the opportunity to work with us, and that's really the only way we're going to be able to transform this, because they ain't gonna give us nothing. This last election just kind of showed us that they're telling us they don't care. They don't care about us at all.
Pause. This last election,
well, no, they've been telling us that for everyone prior to. My point was that this was just a requiem for those who didn't realize it, that they don't care. So for the last how many ever years, going back to the Compromise of 1877, right? Like we're out here on our own, and if we don't take advantage of it and figure out how to solve it for ourselves, nobody is coming to help us.
So check this out, and you bring up I like that. I like that, and shout out to you and your group. I definitely like that. So here's something. I challenge everybody that's watching this right now. I got a challenge, because here's an idea I came up with. Just like they have these BMI groups. So for those who don't know what BMI groups are, and I'm not going to use their name again because I don't know if I'll get in trouble or whatever like that. I don't know. I'm just trying to help a community out. So what the structure and the basis is you form groups, and within this group, if we could form, a melanated group Okay, so a melanated group that pretty much has only one person of each industry. So, in other words, you have one person in this group who is a real estate agent, one person a doctor, lawyers, attorneys, pressure washers, whatever it might be. But you have one person that's from that industry in these groups. Okay, and what happens is any business that's done is referred to from that group or within that group. Now you have the dollar circulating either within that group because you have all type of professionals, all type of business people within that group, or from someone that was referred to within that group or referred by within that group. Am I making sense? Am I making sense? Can you guys understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So
Absolutely, absolutely.
so
But we can't allow any white
well,
to be
and
involved
and
in
and
this.
and here's the thing. It's not about, not allowing any white people in. It's about trying to empower our community. It's about trying to empower so you're right. It would be a melanated group. It's a
Exactly.
it's a it's
No,
a melanated group, so it would be for our community. And you're right.
absolutely.
So it would be something
We
for
just talked
us.
about integration.
Right. It would
Like,
be it would
no,
be
that
something it
would
would be
not work.
something it would be something for us. And it's not anything against any other ethnic groups or anything like that. But what it's about is trying to help our group, trying to help our community to become better and to become wiser and to get out of from where we're at. Because as Mike just said, nobody's gonna help us but us. You know, last show we did when Mike was on the show, he mentioned we talked about how banks were actually instructed not to give uh, melanated families home loans, and we had redlining and everything like that. Things like this were going on, and a lot of times things like this still go on. So it's not about, I don't want to turn it into, rah, rah, but it's about helping our community basically. And this is what
Absolutely.
and this is what I'm talking about. I want to help our community because you know that's what the show's about. Focusing on our community. So
Absolutely. But that's what
you
they
know,
demonize, though. That's part of the psychological thing that
correct,
I'm conveying. They would demonize helping one another.
correct.
You know,
Listen, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with fighting for the betterment of your people, as long as you're not as long as you're not uh what's the word? As long as you're not trying to harm or talking harm on another people to better your people. See that's where something else comes in. But there's nothing wrong with trying to better your people.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. But white, come on now, white.
Yeah. So this is what we want to do. And hey, if anybody's interested in starting this group, I'm open. If anybody's interested in starting it, you have any names you want to call it or whatever, it's going to be I don't Mike knows me, and I use the word melanated because black is the color of a textile. It's the color of a crayon. You look at our skin color, we're not black. Black is not an identity. So I use melanated because
Ooh,
we have melanin in our skin. So, and not only that, but it covers it covers all shades of us, because we come in different shades and everything else. But, so when I say melanated people, so that you know what I'm talking about. So, um, yeah, anybody listening to this, anybody watching this, if you're interested in helping and starting a group or whatever like that, then listen, get in touch with me, go to the comments, and everything, and by all means, look, let's get it started. I'm trying to do something about it. So everybody talks all this, let's do this, let's do this rah 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 stuff. And as I said in the beginning of the show, shout out to my brother Blue, as he mentioned that, everybody talking all this stuff, and and smiling and geeking in each other's face, but we don't have anything to show for it. Nobody has any businesses or anything like that. So, listen, we trying to start a foundation here, and we trying to get the dollar circulating in our community longer than 6 hours. Let's work on a day, then we work on 2 days, then we work on 5 days, then we work on 7 days. And how we do that, we let's start a group where we represent each other, and we do business with each other, and we give each other business. Let's do that. So get in touch with me. What do you guys think?
Absolutely. Well, absolutely. I'll be getting in contact with you because I said earlier, I'm broke as a joke. But help me help you so we can, make something happen.
Definitely.
I'm down for it.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know what I do. So
Yeah.
if it's going to be at a point where we can do something to continue to grow and better, not only ourselves but our community and our legacies, I'm all in. And even if I have to play the advisory role or I have to be the person that run it, it don't matter. But we
Okay.
definitely going to have to change it.
Definitely. 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 Listen, we about to wrap it up, and y'all have no idea how much I appreciate y'all for being on the show. I really do. And I want to say real quick, listen, if you are watching the show, you watch the whole episode, you have no idea how much I appreciate you. Listen, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the show. Please subscribe to the show. I need subscribers. And also the little bell on there. Hit that bell so that way, whenever there's a new episode that comes out, you'll automatically get reminded. So share with your people, because people need to hear stuff like this. Share with your people. Listen, in closing, anything you guys would like to say in closing, go for it. We're going to start with Donnie. Go for it.
Yes. Thank you again for accepting me to come on and talk with you. I appreciate that a whole bunch of kind because I like talking. I just like to hear thoughts about stuff like I just said earlier, and let's talk about it. The more taboo it is, the more I want to talk about it. So yeah, people, whatever talk, Google it. Like we ain't probably at the top of the list, but we on the first page.
All right. All
You don't
right.
gotta do click too many clicking. And also, I got another show called Challenge Our Beliefs. I'm talking about religion stuff. I'm not spiritual nor religion, but it's my favorite thing to talk about.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, we appreciate having you, man. Thanks, Donnie. All right, Mike, talk to us.
Well, first of all, I appreciate you letting me get the last word in, right? Um, you know, from a context place of we'll say biblical scripture. Faith without works is dead, right?
Mhm.
So it's great to talk, right? It's great to analyze and plan, but we got to get some action going. So
Mm.
I challenge everyone to think about what you can at least do individually today to to start get this ball moving in a better direction. And as you do that, then we can continue to come together.
Here we
Let's
go.
plan. Let's really get something down to say, hey, we have our project 2025 is to get us together in a place where economically we can keep ourselves protected and insulated for whatever foolishness is coming. And that way, we'll be able to leave a legacy that is not just in money, but in the intellectual capacity of our offspring and grandchildren, because then they'll be able to take what we do and extend it even further.
Right, right. Definitely, definitely,
Absolutely,
definitely.
absolutely.
And
Yeah, I second that challenge. I second that challenge. Listen, we challenge you. So if you're watching this, bring it. Listen, comment on the episode. Leave some comments. Y'all can leave comments on there. And I appreciate y'all dealing with my sniffles and coughs. And I know y'all saw me put my mute on and bending down, and I was coughing and all that. So I appreciate y'all and everything. Oh wait, let me get my deep. All right. Yeah, I forgot I'm on here with Mike. So let me get my big Mike radio voice back on. So I appreciate y'all dealing with all of that. And listen, prayerfully I'll be back next week, nice and healthy and yeah, so I'll be back. But listen, y'all have once again, I appreciate y'all for watching. I appreciate my guests. Shout out to y'all. Mahogany, we appreciate you as well. Shout out to you. And listen, that's about it. We're about to wrap it up. And so like always, man, appreciate y'all, and we'll see y'all next time. Love, peace, and hair grease.
Peace out.